Greetings, CADESPORT fans. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to be streaming just a straight up ride. We'll see how the cast of characters plays it. A lot of times, some people treat anything that starts with an R as a race, but hopefully today we will be doing just a ride. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Guess we've got like 25 kilometers to do today. In terms of a ride, should take us a little bit longer, and we'll see what kind of fun's in store for us. Maybe we'll do some pace lines and some other sort of skill level work today on the ride. We've got Cade Fondo, which is 20 kilometers, and then looks like we've got Water Village, which will be Crash-a-Palooza. A lot of really tight corners on that course, so high skill course. And we'll see if we can all sort of stay up and stay together as a group, but it might be a little bit hard on that course. Looks like we have the standard ride power-ups, the comeback kid, so that if you get dropped off because you're like commentating or something and you need to get back on, you can do that. We have quantum shift as well. I'm not sure we need that one. Hopefully that one isn't used too much today. We'll see if people are doing autopilot or steering manually the whole time. Sometimes manually steering is a little bit easier when you want to do some pace line work. We've got a new feature coming out, which is TTT mode for autopilot, so that that works well. Okay, we've got some significant power off the front to begin with. Let's see how it settles in. Erhan probably showing off his Turkish jersey. Wants a little TV time today on the ride. I'm just going to slot in here. We've got a few other people a little bit further back. Looks like they're just going to hold a ride pace. I'll see if they catch up here in a bit. We'll see what the overall play is. I think I like their speed a little bit more than the power at the front. Here we see we've got a ride leader holding about 316 watts. So I think that's what most of the other people are doing. I really like the speed of that group more. I'll just soft pedal here. Get back to that group. So one of the things that you'll see is the autopilot on CADESPORT will apex the corners for you, and you can see that here. Vanessa may have came across there to follow those riders in front of her. But if we were looking at like the lead rider, what we'd find is the autopilot will apex the corner for you. So you can manually steer with your phone. You can manually steer with the keyboard. A number of different ways for you to steer in CADESPORT. And then one of them is just let the system do it for you. Oh, and maybe, no. I don't know why that ball went through me. Interesting. So it looks like we'll be holding something like 40 kilometers per hour. But with Pro Power, power handicapping, which we have here on CadeSport, and this is a power handicapping event. What that means is when we're going easy, we're like pros who are going easy, and so we probably hit that magical 40 kph or 25 miles per hour, and that's kind of where we'll ride around on Pro Power. If you're not a pro, then normally you'd be riding something under 40 kilometers per hour if you're just going easy for sure. And that just gives you a sense. You could do both raw and Pro Power on CadeSport, and you could actually sort of compare the two and see how much faster pros go for a given level of effort than how fast you go. Kind of a neat thing you can do on CadeSport. Now, if you're going to do that and you really want to get the right numbers, what you're going to want to do is select real as the difficulty type, and that's going to give you the best top-notch simulation in the industry, not even close, with regards to drafting and cornering and all those sorts of things. And you should definitely get a sense for how you feel outdoors. And then the difference between what a pro would be doing for the same level of effort as what you'd be doing. It's kind of a fun thing to try a little bit back and forth here. Christian coming back to the group. I think he might have been expecting a race today, but he's going to join the crowd here, which is really awesome. And it seems like the leader bot has a quantum shift. I don't know if that's a bug or that's a feature. Here you see the great apexing where the turn starts, and Christian's trying to entice us to go a little bit harder. Homer's going to oblige. I think I'll oblige to that too. Maybe we'll leave some of the bots behind and we can do some trading off of pace lines at the front. Uh-oh. Homer's standing up. I can see him in the video. The diesel. He shifted gears, and here we go. Homer loves to pull. Honestly, it's one of the things I like most about Homer. He's that guy that'll go to the front and pull, pull, pull. He isn't a wheel sucker like me, quite the opposite. That's why I like him so much. I can just suck wheel. True sprinter. Never waste an ounce of energy until the sprint. That would be my motto. People used to, when I was racing outdoors, they'd yell at me and get mad. I just look at them and say, it's how the game's played. If you can drop me now. If you can't, I will beat you in a sprint. So that only served to enrage them a little more. And that was all right by me because they were wasting energy being enraged. And then they would also try and leave me behind. which was fun. That would hurt. I saw Vivica smile as I was talking about that. So definitely quantum shift seems like it's on as an ability. That's too bad. A little harder to practice baselining that way. Still doable, but for my money, too much like other platforms where people, you can just move through them. That, doesn't really work that way in real life. Oh, I think I spotted another little bug. I'm not sure why my comeback kid is still active. That'll make for a really easy ride. So, interesting. Let me see if I can use another one and cause it to go away. Nope. Doesn't look like I can. Nope. Is the game stuck? I think the game is stuck. Give me just a moment. Okay, so I am going to ask the nimble fingers of Vanessa to set up another Cade Fondo ride, but without quantum shift. So maybe we can play with that. And just the one, if you would, Vanessa. Since we already put an amount of time on this one. We already put in our 6 kilometers, 5 kilometers on this one. We'll just stay here for a bit, and then we'll go to a Cade Fondo that doesn't have quantum shift on it. I'll let everybody know that we'll be moving to that once that's set up. Okay, we're back in. Give me a second. Okay, so here we are. We're back a little bit. I think I had a mechanical, so we'll sort of fade back into where the game is, and talk a little bit about this. We see the quantum shift being used, and we've got Homer, the diesel again, pulling, It looks like Mark's going to rejoin the group, and Vanessa's still going pretty easy. And we got Kay a little bit further back. I saw her sitting up a little while back, and so I think she is getting in that easy day, and so I think that's good. Erhan's gonna do a little attack here. I think he lives to give it a little bit of a punch every now and then. Get his heart rate up, but not too high, only in the 180s here. Equalized. Christian looks like he's going to follow that. So we have difficulties I was mentioning a bit earlier today in the system, and we're on easy difficulty today. That makes the time for a crash a little bit less. It means you can speed out of a corner by laying down a lot more power than you can in real, so your back wheel doesn't sort of lose grip in a tight turn. But the other thing that's really significant that Easy does is it extends the real simulations draft further back. And the reason we do that is a lot of people are used to other cycling platforms draft, and those, they usually extend them a bit too far, but you also have the quantum shift sort of ability that makes it go further back as well, if you will. And the other thing is in a virtual world, it's not quite the same as being outdoors for sensing where the wheel is in front of you the same way. I mean, you really pay attention to that outdoors because you don't want to wreck. You don't so much, one, because it's virtual and you're not going to wreck, but also because other cycling platforms have sort of taught you that it doesn't matter because you're just going to move through the person in front of you. So what we do to ease that is, on the easier difficulties, sort of ease the transition, is to extend that draft a little bit further back, and it makes it a little bit easier to catch and use the draft in easy mode. Okay, we've got Mark here. Looks like he's in that position where it's like, do I go hard? Do I go easy? What do I do in terms of, do I want to catch on to the pack, or do I just want to ride back here at my own pace? His heart rate's probably maybe a little higher than he wants on an easy day, so I think he's just trying to sit in, get his heart rate back down, and see what happens on the front. I always think this is a tough choice when you're riding, because if you get back onto the end of that, probably you even get to go easier than you're going by yourself, but you have to make a big effort to close down 7 seconds. And so on maybe this is active recovery for Mark, and so he's thinking, no, I don't really want to push into the red here today. I want to make sure that I don't do that. And then you've got the three individuals up front who are just holding, I would say, like normally maybe 360 to 400 on the front there, and then just sort of taking turns. Looks like Christian and Homer are going to take turns off the front. Erhan is on the back. That's where I'd be, sort of sucking wheel if this was a race. On non-race days, I would normally certainly take a turn at the front. I really enjoy doing pace lines. I think pace lines are fantastically fun because you get to kind of press your effort a little bit, get your heart rate up, then go to the back, get some good recovery, and rinse and repeat. So it looks like Mark has decided, okay, that easier on the last wheel sounds good to me. And it looks like he'll climb back on. Now, one of the things that's different about CadeSport is when he climbs back on, he's actually going to feel that in his legs. When you catch the draft in CadeSport, you will feel the draft in your legs, assuming you've got your trainer resistance set, I would say probably 75%. If you have it set at 100%, you're really going to feel it. If you have it set at 25%, you're going to have to be really in tune with your legs to get the sense. So generally speaking, I think people should keep their trainer resistance at 100%. So you might find it interesting that we have it at 25% by default. But again, that's just to ease people in from other cycling platforms where the default tends to be like 50%. And a lot of the reason for that is they don't change the trainer resistance for draft so much. And it doesn't really matter that much. And it also, what that allows people to do on other cycling platforms is pedal downhill. It's one of the reasons you would want to set your trainer resistance low. But it's, I call that anti-real cycling, because I'm out in the real world. If you're going down a hill, especially a steep one, you're not going to pedal because probably, unless you've got really big gearing, you're going to be spun out anyway, or near spun out. And usually as cyclists, we'll use coasting through a corner and going downhill as periods of rest. Whereas on the other cycling platforms, virtual cycling platforms, you're going to just sort of be pedaling the whole time. And that can be some decent training and even make you a little stronger for the outdoors, but it doesn't really train you for how you ride outdoors. And I always think the best training is to be doing the real thing. So I like here on CadeSport that your trainer resistance, you can set that, and then it'll remind you on the uphills to go a little bit harder, as most people do, and on the downhills to go a lot easier. And again, it gets your body used to what you're going to be doing outdoors as well. And we look to be a cycling simulation. We have workouts as well, so if you just want to pedal, that's the easiest way I know of to pedal. Like I said, it can make you stronger for sure, but you also want to teach your body how to do the micro recoveries. And then like riding like rollers. So I used to motor pace behind my coach, and I did more rollers at 50 miles per hour, or like like 80 kph behind a motorcycle than I would like to remember. I think it'd be quite painful. But what it taught you was how to ride rollers, and definitely it wasn't full gas. What he taught me was definitely a rhythm. And when I first started, I'd burn a tremendous amount of energy going over those rollers because I was kind of like pedal. And the most effective way to do it is get in a rhythm, and you sort of go up the hill hard, but then you learn where at the crest. Like most people do it too early. They come off the power a little bit too early. But once you've gotten to the appropriate place, just beyond the crest, and started to hit the downhill, then you would stop pedaling and use gravity, and then rinse and repeat. As you hit the bottom of that, you might even stand up, but a lot of times you'd have me do it seated. And you go up the hill hard again, and you get this nice little rhythm. And what you find is, if you're doing it right, you're using a lot less energy, but you're going faster. And one of the things my coach taught me was, everybody's about power, power, power. And I think there's an over-obsession about power in virtual cycling platforms. But what he taught me is, there's some of that in the outside world too. But what you really want to do is go fast, right? I mean, and another virtual cycling platform, even, their slogan is "Fun is fast." But then you get into that platform and it's all about power. But really what you want to do is be able to go as fast as you can using the least amount of power that you can. And that's how you win cycling races. It's how you enjoy rides too. Because if you're learning, for instance, in a pace line like I was talking about earlier, how to conserve that energy and then also go fast, it just feels great to get to the coffee shop and realize that you went 5 kilometers further than you thought you were going to go because you were riding in a group, and the group was really good, and the group was really skilled, and they knew how to save energy but still go fast. I think that's what's one of the things that makes the pace line fun as well. The speeds that you can attain are really quite impressive when it's done right. And we see Homer here saying, okay, let's go a little faster. Let's see if we can work on some of that stuff. Now, back to trainer difficulty. So you kind of know where my basic thoughts are on trainer difficulty. Now, we added 2 other trainer difficulties in CadeSport, which are warm-up and cool-down. So as an example for me, on cool-down, I set it to 0. So I go from a high trainer resistance to absolutely none. In the cool-down, I can just cool down. I can put my gearing when I want it to put it. I'm not going to feel hills. I'm not going to feel draft. I can just do my proper cool-down at a steady intensity, clear the lactic acid out of the system, and not have more of it put in because I come to a hill. So that's a really nifty feature inside of CadeSport. And then the other thing that I do on the warm-up is I'll set that to about half of what I set, let's say 50% on what I'm going to do during a race. And then I'm going to feel a little bit of a tug on the hills and get into more, sort of get my muscles ready, but not sort of bury them going up a hill. So a little bit harder, and I get all nice and warmed up. So that's a nice feature in CadeSport that you can pick up on with regards to trainer resistance. We see Aaron here saying, okay, I'm just going to sort of take it easy and move on. I'm loving the yellow room. I don't know if that was always yellow, but I think that's going to start to be a thing in CadeSport. People sort of painting rooms. We got Homer here with yellow, matches his jersey, and then got Timothy who's in a red room. We've got Seb who changes his backgrounds, but I see a lot of that. So we see Mark going hard here. Homer's going to pull off saying, oh, okay, Aaron, that was fun. I love that. So, you know, when you come to the end of a ride, of course you got to sprint. You got to sprint for the city limit sign, even if it was a ride. And Erhan there worked that to perfection. He used a comeback kid and blew by everybody right at the line. That was fantastic timing, and you see him fist pump there. That was awesome. So that was quite a bit of fun to see that there at the end, even on a ride. No results because it's a ride. Try and keep people from going too hard. And we see that we left the ride leader behind by quite a bit. There is a fence you can use if you don't want people to go faster than the leader in CadeSport, but we usually let people do what they want. Sort of a freedom thing, but it can annoy people when other people go off the front, so you do have that feature available in CadeSport. So anyway, we're off to Water Village. Crashapalooza here. We're going to see just how much Homer crashes. I suspect not much, especially on a ride day. It's a lot easier not to crash on a ride day. On Tuesday, great racing, but the person who won the first race got into the second race. I think they were really excited. They had the first race was a 3x multiplier, and I think they had an excellent shot at winning the day for sure. And they got into the second race, and it's so easy to happen on CadeSport. They got a little excited, and they took a corner too fast. I think trying to win. It was a 1x multiplier. Probably didn't have to win that one, but you do get excited. And then once you crash, then you're trying to make up time, and you continue to crash, and you continue to lose time. And we saw that for sure on the day. So Water Village is in New York City. Looks like we've got a static image. Oh, nope. Okay. Just the director. Since I had a E-mechanical today, I am gun shy. We see Mark crashing during the warm-up. You got to go really slow around these corners on Water Village. They are really tight corners. So this is really about skill. But when you get a sort of a combination map like this one, what you'll see is you tend to go hard. You see Erhan sort of has the throttle down on the straights because the straights are long enough to go hard. But then you have to really brake hard in those cases to get around the corner appropriately. Looks like Vivica and Homer and Erhan and Christian have all got that sort of down. And then we have a leader bot coming up and saying, see, I can do this pretty well. And so you see Erhan and Homer, I think they, oh, was that, I'm not quite sure who crashed there, but maybe it was Homer and Christian. But no, Christian seems up there too. So anyway, a couple people crashed back there. And you can see on these technical courses, woo, the leader there saves it. Big skid. Oh, Erhan's got to really brake hard. Oh, great braking. That's pretty effective. As I was saying, you kind of sprint and brake hard. You see the leader sort of holding more of a rhythm. And you see, you know, people backing out and crashing as well. Erhan's doing an excellent job. Oh! And as I say that, he skids out. Now, I don't think he liked that skid, so I don't know what that one was. Did he hit the brakes? Did he hit too much power? But as long as he doesn't lose his wits here, he's still in the lead. And generally speaking, he seems to be handling the most skill, but you see Vivica's there. Maybe it was Vivica who crashed earlier, but she's working her way back. Oh, and Homer takes out a bot. Now, Homer can't really take out a bot, but what happened was the bot started skidding in the corner, and Homer was in the way, and as soon as you're skidding and you slide into somebody else, you wreck. We don't let you wreck other people in Cade Sport. You can only wreck yourself. So it's all under your control as to whether you wreck or not. I think this is a I don't know if this is a 2-lap or a 3-lap race. I'm not really sure, but I know it's 5 kilometers. Oh, lap 1 of 2. There we go. Help for the commentator. So this is, now you see Erhan's gotten a little more conservative around the corners. He does not want to do the skids. Ooh, I see him putting a little power down there. And you do have to be careful. I think if this was set to medium or real difficulty, you might have broken loose on the back wheel there as well. But some really good cornering, and you see some Vibica doing manual control and just staying in one lane, it looks like to me. We've got the leader here on the front. Oh, Vibica. Vibica was like, I can do this. I can get past the leader. Maybe got a little excited there. And so now she's got to get caught back on. But it seems to me that, generally speaking, she must be taking the corners faster than everybody else. So I think she'll get caught back on for sure in the next lap. Vanessa pushing hard on the straights to get back in. And another place you can push really hard is right now, this long sweeping corner. So Vibica and Vanessa can put out a lot of power here. Everyone's heart rate's way down because of the technical nature of the course. Okay, and we see absolutely Vibica's crushing it here, and you just gotta brake for the corner that's coming up. It's sort of just past this straight. So made up a lot of time there, and you see that all the real riders went quite a bit harder in that section than the leader. Ooh, Erhan goes down on the front. Oh, that corner right before the finish line is a tight one, and it catches some people out. And I have to say, that can be a bit soul-crushing here on Cade Sport when you've worked so hard to get back on, and you're right there, and you're all happy, and you break concentration for just a second because you're so happy, and wham! You get whipsawed from elation to dang it. And I'd use something a little bit more explicit in my language if I wasn't commentating. Now you see Homer here. Look at this. I want to say he's going to crack a smile, but he is just in the zone, focused on these turns. And that's one of the things that Cade Sport will teach you how to do. I did a lot of crit racing when I was racing, and I was never happy with how good I was on turns. And maybe that's one of the reasons I put a lot of the turning stuff here into Cade Sport, because it'll really help you turn better. Ooh, that seemed odd. There is a little physics change coming on how quickly you can go into a corner. We got one of the physics things slightly off, which is we apply your aero friction when you're slowing down to your tire friction, which we shouldn't. So that'll mean in the future you're able to go a little bit faster into the corners. Ooh. So Christian saves it there. But they're definitely pushing it here. And here's the interesting thing. You got to kind of push it because Homer's up front. And I can tell these guys definitely want to get back to Homer. Erhan's super focused. I love how focused people look in Cade Sport. Like, he's catching his breath. He's going around the corner. There's 1.4 kilometers to go. Let's face it, this isn't a ride. This is a race. Erhan will brake hard here. Oh, great skill, Erhan. Erhan's skill really coming up. Oh. So I'll have to talk to Christian about that. See what he's experiencing there, because it does seem a tad bit odd to me. Okay. Erhan. Heart rate's at 164. He can see Homer. He's going to come to that section now here shortly where they can go hard. But he's got the diesel in front of him. So the diesel's going to be able to hold a pretty big effort on that last little section. Erhan doing very well there, upping his effort. Homer still a bit out in front by 7 seconds. You can see Homer standing up for those straights. Like I said, when you get these combo sort of courses, what ends up happening is you end up sprinting on the straights to sort of make up for going slow through the corners, and it can make for some really sort of a hit workout where you're going really hard, then you're resting, then you're going really hard, then you're resting. So neurologically and physiologically, that can be quite beneficial for your training, and you just get to do it sort of naturally here on CadeSport. I don't have to watch a graph to do it. It's one of the things I really like. Okay, we've got Vivica, we've got Christian, we've got power. Erhan on the front, 1200 watts. Definitely trying to close it down to Homer. Homer, 670 watts. Now he's looking at a corner maybe. Oh, he's gotten within 4 seconds, but now he's got to deal with corners. He handles that one well. Waits to get back on the power. Beautiful. Okay, but Homer's laying down the law. He throws in 1,000 watts. His comfortable lead. Slows down so he doesn't make a mistake in the last corner. Bravo, Homer. Really good technical skills by everybody today. Erhan, excellent job. Too bad on a couple of those crashes. Vivica recovers nicely. And then it looks like we have Vanessa. I'm not sure what the actual finish was. And again, it was a ride, so we won't know. We're not going to show results in terms of that. I think you can actually turn that on if you want as an event organizer. But generally speaking, on rides, we don't show results. Fun ride today. I was able to go really easy, which is really good for me. Because of my e-mechanical, I'll have to look into what went wrong there, but probably something to do with me commentating and sharing screens and trying to do a little bit too much on my system, I imagine. But I will figure that out. Anyway, everyone, hope you have a great day. We got races on Saturday and races on Tuesday, and we will be riding again next Thursday. Thanks, everyone.